Mike Gesicki on Sunday, 1 reception for 30 yards. We've gone back and forth over this question. I think it's relevant once again. Should the Miami Dolphins trade away Mike Gesicki for a contributing piece, be it on the offensive line, be it at corner, be it at linebacker? What do you reckon?
Nah,
You still
we're
don't
not
think
doing
so?
it. I'm gonna tell you why, Kadeem. There's a chance we can win the division. Literally, bruh. There's a real chance we can win the division. There's a chance we can get a bye in the playoffs. Not likely. I'm not irrational here. It's not likely that we win the division, and it's not likely that we get a first round bye. But winning the division is more likely than getting a first round bye. Not saying that we'll have either one, but we are in the playoff conversation. We're going to the playoffs, and all we have to do is get to the dance. That is it. Once we're in the dance, you dance with the people who got you there, bro. And Mike Gesicki is an important piece to this team. Does he contribute the way we want him to contribute right now? Absolutely not. Is it a Gesicki thing? Is it a McDaniel thing? I don't know. But what I do know is he still has the best hands on the team. That's what I do know. So I'm not willing to move on from Mike Gesicki right now because he's not contributing as much as we would like him to when we can just let him walk at the end of the season and then get a third round compensatory pick. So will we get back more now for trading Gesicki today or before the trade deadline? Or will we get back that third round compensatory pick for Mike Gesicki and let him walk wherever he wants to go? Because I kind of feel like we owe him the respect to let him go to a team that he wants to go to.
So you said he's an important piece of the team, right? I think right now he's not. And I'm not saying it's his fault. For whatever reason, Mike Gesicki through the first 5 weeks of this season has been a non-factor. Yes, like he had one catch for 30 yards. Great.
Non-factor? First through the first 5 weeks, he's a non-factor. Kadeem, you sure about that?
In my opinion, I think Mike Gesicki hasn't been a pivotal piece to wins or losses over the first 5 games to the point where
So the Baltimore game didn't. We just gonna omit the Baltimore game.
um unless I miss.
You don't remember the Gesicki gritty, the gritty Gesicki.
Oh yeah, of
Climbed
course,
the ladder.
yeah,
Started the comeback.
Hold on, yeah, started the comeback, yeah. But okay, so one game.
Oh, okay. No, it's different now. We changed it up now. It's okay. It's say one game out of 5.
Please let me finish. Please let me finish.
Okay.
No, you are right. He played a pivotal role in that game. So maybe me saying it being a non-factor across all 5 games is wrong with me, and it is wrong with me. However, what I will say is one touchdown in 5 games being, even though it's crucial in that thing, dude, come on, like to me at this point. I think you can make a genuine argument to go and get an offensive lineman or a corner who will contribute greater than what Mike Gesicki has over the past 5 games. And yes, I was wrong to say, I was wrong to forget and diminish his role in that Ravens game, but I'm also not going to pretend that Ravens game changes my entire opinion, because the other 4 games, off the top of my head, he's done virtually nothing. But I'm not blaming him for that.
That's fair. My thing is it Mike Gesicki or does Mike McDaniel need to find a way to make it happen to Mad Genius? And I love them both, actually. I love Mike McDaniel and I absolutely love Mike Gesicki. Like, my hope is that the Dolphins can win a Super Bowl this season so Mike Gesicki can enjoy it with his friends and family in the Dolphins franchise, and then go walk into the sunset of going and going to get your money. That's what I hope happens with Mike Gesicki. But I don't know that I can put this on Mike Gesicki, not saying that you did, or if Mike McDaniel has to figure out a way to get him involved. Like, look, bro, Waddle and Hill is the 1-2 punch. That is it. Tua drop back, Waddle. 11 receptions, 13 targets. Tua drops back, Tyreek Hill, 13 receptions, 15 targets. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, Mike McDaniel, you're smart enough to figure this out, bro. You know what I'm saying? And all I'm saying is, with all the injuries and as long as the season is, and we're a quarter through the season, little over a quarter way through the season, you can't tell me that if we don't have Mike Gesicki, and now Tyreek Hill nursing an injury, Jalen Waddle walking around gingerly, bro, we need as much as we can get. If we're gonna trade for pieces to bring in to contribute to this run that we're making, I'm okay with moving on from picks. I really am. F them picks like the Rams do it, and we could start getting the whiff of this apple that the Rams bit at twice in 5 years and don't have the draft space to maintain. Like, I'm okay with the Dolphins moving up. Bro, I told you what I would do right now, and I know the line is banged up, but I also know how important our DBs are to this scheme on defense. I'm trading picks for Asante Samuel Jr. He's a starter. He can put him inside. He can put him outside. X not going to be around forever. Byron Jones not going to be around forever. He'll be the new starting corner DB1 when we're ready. But nah, man, that's unrealistic though. So to answer your question, I'm not ready to move on from Mike Gesicki. I think we will receive more if we let him finish the year with a compensatory pick than what we would get from him right now if we traded him right now. Saying if we traded Mike Gesicki to whatever team, insert team here, we'll just say the Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? Like, we trade Mike Gesicki to the Cardinals. What are the Cardinals going to give us right now? A fourth? A fifth? You know what I'm saying? A player? What, you know what I'm saying? A player that might not start next year? I don't know, bro.
And I do get that, but I look at, and I think the Jets game as a perfect example of both your starting wide receivers are banged up, like, and for whatever reason, the mad genius that is Mike McDaniel could only formalize muscle up a game plan. Mike Gesicki has one target for 30 yards, and I think, again, 5-yard lead from the Dolphin UK podcast said it brilliantly. Mike McDaniel does not have his tight end on his roster right now. He just doesn't. And I think ultimately, and through genuinely no fault of his own, sometimes these things just happen. But what if, for whatever reason, the Mike McDaniel and Mike Gesicki partnership just can't work out? And
I agree. I do agree.
And that's why I'm like, and again, 5 weeks is still a small sample size, but we're nearing the territory of trade deadline. While we might get at best a 3rd round pick to use in 2 years' time, could we not get a player who can contribute against the Vikings this year?
I'm not willing to do it, bro.
And again, that's totally fine, because the flip side is, if Mike McDaniel can get that ping moment where he can get everyone going, Waddle, Gesicki, Cedric Wilson Jr. on Hill, then brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. However, all I'm saying is, from my opinion, to hold on to him because we might get a 3rd round pick in 2 years' time isn't good enough, when if your boy Chris Greer can formalize something where we can get, and I'm not going to ask you, would you trade Mike Gesicki today for Asante Samuel Jr.? Because I don't think that's a realistic trade.
It's not.
But if the Dolphins can find a genuine contributor today, would you still not be willing? And again, I can understand if you say no.
Contributor. I think we say contributor over here.
See, I was laughing because I thought you was I thought you was laughing at the scenario, not my.
No. Which is, and actually, the Chargers are that's a fine example, because if Gesicki went to the Chargers, it's another weapon for them. Then I could ask for Asante Samuel Jr. and I'll throw in a pick just to sweeten it up. Like, yo, I want in the corner. But here's my thing, Kadeem. There's no, and I say this about the quarterback all the time. For whatever reason, bro, I don't care the reason. I don't know the reason. But for whatever reason, people don't like Tua that are Dolphin fans. They don't like him for some reason. And they want this idea of the perfect quarterback, like whatever that looks like. Because every quarterback takes too many sacks, doesn't get rid of the ball in time, throws interceptions, overthrows a receiver, underthrows a receiver. There's no perfect quarterback out there, bro. But for some reason, they hold Tua to this higher standard of perfection that he has to be. I don't know why they do it. All right. And the same goes for Mike McDaniel, not with the scrutiny, but here's why. There's no coach out there that is flawless. You know what I'm saying? There's no coach out there that has only strengths, no weaknesses. So I trust Mike McDaniel and all of his genius to come up with a way to make it work with Mike Gesicki this season. And if it doesn't, then we move on from Mike Gesicki next season. But the same way we rock with Mike McDaniel and Mike Gesicki, the same way we rock with McDaniel, it's like, yo, you scheme up the plays, you know how to do this, you know how to do that, you know how to do X, Y, and Z. But to your point, Kadeem, we're down people. We have all these people hurt. We have a backup quarterback in, and you have not even arguably, because now I've said he's a top 4 tight end, and everyone knows he's a top 10. So I'll just concede and say he's a top 10 tight end. You have a top 10 tight end on your roster, and your roster is decimated. Backup quarterbacks in, and you still can't find this dude. You want me to believe Mike Gesicki ain't getting open or can't get open, or do you want me to think McDaniel can't get him the ball? That's is one of the two, and I don't think it's not that he can't get open. So we have to find a way to involve Mike Gesicki. Maybe. Do we have to really find a way, or is it just because Tua's out? You know what I'm saying? That the offense is not thriving. So once Tua comes back in, if we're winning games still and Gesicki ain't getting his touches, it's just because Mike McDaniel is comfortable scheming up the Penguin and the Cheetah. I don't know if I could be mad at that.
Yeah, and the Panthers just fired Matt Rule. The 1-4. Their season is done. Now, I love Mike Gesicki too much to send him to Carolina and just waste a year of his career. And I wouldn't advocate for that. But if a situation where Chris Greer and I don't even know who is the Panthers GM, Scott Filter. I don't know who this guy is. But say for whatever reason, say a corner, JC Horn.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things where it's like, could the Dolphins turn down a trade for Mike Gesicki if someone like JC Horn's available? And again, if one of the things with the Panthers, if they are legit in rebuild mode now.
All right, that's different, Kadeem. This is why I'm okay saying trade Gesicki for a significant piece, but you mentioned someone that could help us against the Vikings. Like, is it just going to be a lineman? Hold on. Is it going to be a lineman that only plays until Teron Armstead comes out, or is it going to be a lineman that we're going to re-sign to be a starter for the next 3 years? You see what I'm saying? So what piece are we trading Gesicki for? Is it going to be a starter that gets a contract that is going to be a perennial starter, or is it just someone who can add depth because we're hurt right now? That's a big part of the question.
So I will hold my hand up and say when I said the Vikings, it's because we're playing them on Sunday, and I was like, you can contribute, from Sunday and beyond.
Right.
But again, this is on me. When I said trade Mike Gesicki now, I'm talking about someone who will play a significant role down the future, because in the nicest way possible, there should be a free agent who can come in and play against the Vikings on Sunday. And I'm not saying
what position are we talking about.
I'm saying that it's okay. So prime example, a linebacker. The Dolphins, there's still a certain section of Dolphin fans are saying, go and sign Reuben Foster right now. He's available. He's not going to cost you no picks, and he would theoretically improve the Dolphin linebacking core.
I wonder if that's the same section that said start Skylar Thompson. And I wonder if that's the same section of Dolphin fans that said Tua ain't it. I don't know. But we do know Mike McDaniel seen Rumor Foster up close and personal.
But I mean, in terms of, I'm not saying trade away Mike Gesicki for someone who at the end of the season say thank you very much, off you go.
Right. That's important.
So that's why in my era, me saying play against the Vikings, that's on me. And the reason I mentioned Asante Samuel Jr. is because to me, it's got to be that level, simply because the plus side of what Mike Gesicki can do this season, you have to bring in someone who can do that and beyond.
I agree.
So that's why maybe perhaps when I asked that question in terms of trade Mike Gesicki, it should have been trade him for a genuine starting piece from now and beyond.
I don't mind that. Because not only that, I would also add a pick to it if I had to make that happen. Because because Gesicki's value is not a second round pick anymore. So we would have to load the trade for someone to take Gesicki right now. Here's my thing. If you talk about bringing in a right tackle right now, I would say, is this the right tackle of our future? Is he going to be the starting right tackle for the next 4 years? Or is it just a better right tackle than Austin Jackson and Greg Little? You see what I'm saying? For Gesicki, I'm unwilling to do that. You see what I'm saying? So now it would have to be, all right, go find a right tackle that you could trade for Gesicki and a second round pick, and then you sign this right tackle. Yeah, I'm willing to say, okay, it has to be a permanent piece. I'm not willing to trade a backup piece for a starting Mike Gesicki just because he's not getting off this year.
And I think so. There are people, and there's always people who say a whole bunch of things. There are people who be like, well, even when you get friend of the podcast Austin Jackson back, kick him inside to left guard because Eichenberg being that bad, and you start, is it Snow at right tackle? So I still think there are people who say you go and find a right tackle because it's Tua's blindside, and you kick, friend of the podcast Austin Jackson inside, because I think a lot of people have seen what he does in the run game, even in that, the limited experience we've seen of him under Mike McDaniel. But again, it's like, you look at, that's not going to work because there's no one on their roster. I'm right now, I'm just kind of looking around teams. So I guess it wouldn't have worked because they already got Kyle Pitts. But, Deion Jones just got traded. I can't remember where he got traded to today. But he just left Atlanta and he's gone. Let's have a look. He has gone to Cleveland. Oh, yeah, Cleveland. So the Browns pick up Deion Jones. There were Dolphins fans saying Miami should have been a part of the conversation.
I'm not willing to trade Mike Gesicki for Deion Jones.
No, but and neither do I. And I don't think the Falcons even need Mike Gesicki because they need to work out how to use Kyle Pitts. Like, that's a whole other conversation. But again, my whole thing is, can you get I think it's fair to say Mike Gesicki is a Pro Bowl talent, even if he hasn't made a Pro Bowl as far as I know. So can you
just call him a top 10 tight end?
Yeah, but can you go and trade a team who needs a top 10 tight end and has, I guess, a surplus or an extra player in a position of need for the Miami Dolphins? And this is a Madden. Trying to find that is very, very, very difficult. But I've long believed that Mike Gesicki would probably be Aaron Rodgers' best friend in Green Bay. Could you work out something with Green Bay? Do you know what I mean? Now,
I feel you. It all matters though.
Yeah, of course.
What we get back, is it going to be a starting right tackle that we're going to sign long term? Is it going to be a starting linebacker that he's going to start forever? Is it going to be a starting corner? Bro, I don't mind trading Gesicki with picks to bring back a starter, but I do mind trading Gesicki for a person that's not going to start for the Dolphins next season. Like, that's not it, because now I could just get my third round compensatory pick, and I could still trade picks for a Matt Hennessy, you know what I'm saying, which is a corner. I mean, a center. So, nah, man, I don't think Mike Gesicki is. We have a list of problems still. I ain't gonna lie. Dolphins still have problems. We have a list, injuries and this and this and this and this and this. I don't think Mike Gesicki cracks the top of the list of our problems. Oopsie.